Why we shouldn't glorify and glamorize 13 Reasons Why. Recently I watched the new series on Netflix, 13 Reasons Why. It is a series that an adolescent, Hannah Baker, has died by suicide and left behind a series of 13 tapes, dealing every component that she believes led up to her death. In addition, she has a plan for the specific people who should listen to the tapes, how they should be listened to, and the order in which they should hear them.
I'm about to tell you the story of my life, more specifically, why my life ended.
If one thing had gone differently somewhere along the line, maybe none of this would have happened.
People were starting to talk. I had to do something.
Whatever Hannah thought she saw, she lied about it.
Maybe I'll never know why you did what you did. I can't make you understand how it felt. If you want to know the truth, just press play.
When I first started this Netflix series, I thought I was like everyone else. I couldn't stop watching it. It was a new series, it was set up to be a mystery, it was a thriller. But then after I finished it, I instantly felt bad for watching something that glorified and glamorized the bullying, a teen suicide. But according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in 2014, suicide was the second cause of death of children and young adults ages 10 to 24. 14% of teenage students think about suicide, 7% actually attempt it. The show was released at a time of year when suicide is more common. It was released of March 31st, which is spring. When teens are, grapple in getting into college and they hope for and even final exams. Research shows that teens who are struggling with suicidal thoughts and mental illness are more likely to attempt suicide when a family member or classmate has died by suicide, or even the lead character of a popular TV series. With that being said, even though Hannah's suicide in the series is focused on being fictional, when you have a strong young adult base, it is sometimes hard for them to separate it from reality, and it gets even harder when their thoughts come into play. On the surface, a show grappling with the difficulties of being an adolescent and the issue of suicide appears positive. However, this program includes an explicit graphic scene showing the actual suicide of the teenager Hannah Baker. It also simplifies the issue of suicide to cause and effect and places blame on individuals. This is a dangerous way for a young person to view and hear about suicide. This series also conveys the idea that if your voice grows unheard in life, your death can serve as an amplifier, an exclamation point if you win, ensuring that your message to be heard out loud and clear after you're gone. Throughout the show, it fails to convey a viable alternative for the teen struggles in the series. The show portrays an image that the adults in the show don't care. I realize it was probably unintended for it to look this way, but does a young adult who's struggling with bullying and self-harm that is unattended, or do they relate to it? While you watch the series, you see that the depression and anxiety are very real things Hannah and her friends struggle with day to day. However, the opportunity to model both the struggle with issues and the options that are available for addressing them, whether that means talking with a trusted adult to pursuing the right kind of mental health support, is missed. Instead, the focus is on suicide as a revenge act. In the show, there is a scene where Hannah goes to the school's guidance counselor for help, but instead the counselor offering treatment options, he questions her in ways that it may seem like it's her fault. Hannah is dealing with the problems of sexual assault, suicide, and it provides a horrible message to the audience that the guidance counselor doesn't care. The show glamorizes real-life situations and sends horrible messages to all the audience. Was the whole purpose of the suicide scene a cause for outrage? The suicide scene itself was plain and simple, practically a tutorial on how to end your life. It was graphic, bloody, and very unnecessary. I know that it is enough to outrage about, but what some don't know is that the book portrays Hannah's suicide as a pill overdose, but the series changed it to razor blades. What purpose did changing Hannah's death from the book to graphically show the suicide in the series? The series and the book go against best practice for addressing suicide responsibly. According to reportingsuicide.org, there are guidelines as to how the media should report a suicide. Research shows us that how suicide is reported has an impact on the public health of society. If you were to research the website, you would see as one of the guidelines is to not glamorize suicide, in which 13 Reasons Why did. 13 Reasons Why breaks every single guideline listed. Violating these guidelines puts our young adults at risk. Romanticizing the act of suicide in a medium that teens hold near to their hearts is dangerous and irresponsible. The show is right to be trying to provide teenagers with a lesson in compassion and sensitivity. But watching Hannah Baker cut her wrist in high definition isn't doing anything for youth suicide prevention. We live in a world now where it is hard to relate to the young adult audience. I believe the show was a great idea if it would have been glamorized more positive and had a better message. And that is where I leave one death is a tragedy. 1 million is a statistic. Let's not let a show that wants to glamorize suicide lead our young adults to being one of those statistics.